Today we're making a fish finger sandwich with a beautiful golden beer batter and a homemade tartar sauce. It's one of my all-time favourite sandwiches, and this is how you do it. So we're going to begin by preparing the fish. There is a couple of types of fish you can use for this. I'm using haddock here, but you can also use cod. But generally any white fleshed fish is good for this job. So we're going to begin by removing the skin on this side, and you can use a fillet knife or a good sharp cook's knife, and you want to hold it by the slim tail end of the fish, and then cut in and down until you can feel the skin, and then turn your knife flat while pulling and creating resistance with this part of the skin. Then pull and gently move the sharp knife, just give it a little wiggle and pull, and it should just about come off in one go. So there we go, we have beautifully skinned haddock, and then there's the skin. Next we're going to check the fish for pin bones. You can see there's lots of lines just going down, and that's generally where the pin bones are going to be. So just with your finger, just have a little feel, and you'll feel them spiking up. I can't feel any on this one, but if there is any, just use a pair of tweezers like this and grab them, and then you can just pull them straight out. Next we're going to cut the fish into those beautiful fish fingers. So we're going to follow the natural lines here in the fish, and we're just going to cut down. So starting there, use a nice sharp knife and cut all the way through, and then do the same on this side. Sometimes you might have to go off the lines just to make it even, but that's absolutely fine. There we go. And next we're going to cut the fish into finger-sized pieces, so you could use your own finger as a measurement. I'll just do about 3 to 4 inches. So I'm going to cut this one into 3. Lovely sized fish fingers there. The same with this one. 1, 2, 3. And then this one is just going to go into 2. Next we're going to take the pieces of fish and lightly salt them, and then we're going to lay them on a tray just with a little bit of kitchen towel on. And all that's going to do is start to season the fish where the salt will penetrate into the fish, and also will draw out some of the moisture, which will also firm up the fish, which is perfect for the sandwich. We'll now set this to one side while we make the beer batter. To make the beer batter, all we're going to do is mix 120 grams of self-raising flour with 250 ml of a beer of your choice. Now all I can recommend here is go for a beer that you like to drink, and pick something that's light. Go for a lager or a pilsner, something with lots of life in it, because it's the bubbles that's going to make this batter really crisp up and go super light and super nice. In terms of consistency, what you're looking for is a pouring cream consistency. If it's too thick, you'll end up with a stodgy batter. And if it's too thin, it won't coat it completely. If it's a pouring cream consistency, then you're going to end up with a beautiful crispy batter throughout. We'll now place the beer batter in the fridge to chill out while we make the tartar sauce. Be rude not to. Okay, for the tartar sauce, we're going to place 170 grams of mayonnaise into the mixing bowl here, and then we'll set that to one side while we do a little bit of chopping. Okay, we'll start with 2 gherkins here, and all I'm going to do is slice them up nice and thin, just like that, and then cut them into strips, and then across into nice little fine dice. The smaller you can do, the better, but some people prefer a chunky sauce, some like it really smooth. We'll add them into the bowl with the mayonnaise. Then we've got 25 grams of capers. Let's put them out onto the board there. Push them together and just run the knife through. You can place your hand on top, keep it nice and flat, and use that as an anchor, and just rock the knife through if that makes it easier for you. And then just every now and again, just wipe the knife down, scrape them back to the centre, and then repeat. We all place them into the bowl as well. And next I'm going to add these spring onions. Normally I would use shallots, but I'm growing these, so why not use what I am growing. And just cut them off. I'm going to save these bits here for a salad later on, and these are the bits I'm going to put in. Again, I'm just going to slice it up, then cut the slices into strips, and then turn them and cut them into fine dice, just like the other stuff. If you want them even smaller, you can just run your knife through them again, just like we did before, and then add them in to the bowl. Next, I've got 3 different herbs here. All of them work perfectly with fish. We've got curly parsley, got some chervil, and we've got some dill. Now this sauce works great with one or the other. It works great with parsley and dill, or chervil and dill, or vice versa. I'm going to put them all in together, and also these are all quite young herbs, so the stalks are nice and soft, so I'm going to chop them into it too. All in all, there's about 15 grams of herbs. Just bunch them together and run the knife through, roughly chop, and then we'll use the cross chopping action just like that again, just to get them nice and fine. And then add all of those fresh herbs straight into the bowl. And then finally, I'm just going to take a lemon and cut it in half. Now we don't need the juice of the full half here, because there's already a lot of flavours going on, so we want probably about a quarter of it. And then we're just going to mix it together until it's all completely combined. I'm going to taste it, and then I'm going to adjust the seasoning with a squeeze of lemon if it's needed, or it might be tangy enough. Let's see. Give it a little bit more. And then we've got a beautiful homemade tartar sauce. Okay, now we're going to place a high rimmed saucepan over a medium heat, and in there we've got some sunflower oil, but you can also use vegetable oil. It's entirely up to you. Just use a neutral oil that's suitable for deep frying. And then we're going to place that over a medium heat until it comes to about 180 degrees centigrade. But while we're waiting for that to come to temperature, we're going to go and prepare the fish a little bit more and set up some flour that we're going to dust the fish in. So we've got a plate here just with 50 grams of flour on, and we're going to season that with a generous pinch of salt and a grind of black pepper. Now this is purely just to dust the fish in before it goes in the batter, and this is what's going to make the batter stick to the fish. Just give it a little mix around, and there we go. Okay, so now we're going to have a little look at the fish, and you can see that there is moisture just forming on the surface there, and that's where the salt has drawn out the moisture. So we're just going to grab a bit of kitchen towel here and give it a little pat dry, and then the next step is to coat each bit of fish in flour. Just like that. Just remember to give the batter a little mix around before you use it again once you get it out the fridge, just to make sure everything's mixed and combined nicely. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to grab the floured fish and I'm just going to dip that into the batter, and then I'm going to let it drip off as much as possible, and then gently place into the hot oil, laying the fish away from you, and then repeat. Now it'll only take about 2 to 3 minutes to cook, and you're just looking for it to be nice and golden brown. You'll probably need to do this in batches because you don't want to overcrowd the pans. Turn over part way through the cooking using a pair of tongs or a kitchen spider, just like this one. After 2 to 3 minutes, when they're nice and golden brown, just remove from the pan and place onto some kitchen towel. Now don't forget to season your fish fingers when they come out of the fryer with a good pinch of sea salt. Now we need to assemble the sandwiches. This is definitely the best part. Take the ciabatta and cut all the way through. Open it right up, get your tartar sauce and just lay it on all the way across on both sides. Now if there's any left, it'll store in the fridge for up to a week, and then spread it out. Move that to one side, grab a little bit of iceberg lettuce, and we're just going to shred that up nice and thin. You can use any lettuce of your choice, or watercress works really well with this. Watercress, rocket. Anyway, I've got crunchy iceberg and we're just going to lay that across the centre. And then we're going to take our fish fingers and we're going to just pile them on all the way through. And then squeeze a little bit of lemon over the top. Place on the lid. And then we're going to take 4 spikes and put them through evenly spaced. Grab a nice sharp bread knife and then just cut between sticks. And then you've got 4 beautiful fish finger sandwiches that look just like that. Absolutely delicious. So that's how I make my beer battered fish finger sandwich with homemade tartar sauce. For me, it doesn't get much better than that. I hope you go out and give it a try for yourself. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.